Now today I'll be sharing with you the top 8 interior design mistakes that you need to avoid. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Faazati Ali and I'm an interior designer who's always giving the best tips on how to make your space look stunning. I also do DIYs and give you guys affordable ideas on how to make your own home decor pieces. I also paint, so do feel free to hit the subscribe button below and join the family. I upload videos every other week. Anyway guys, let's dive straight into today's video where I'll be talking about some very common mistakes that we often make when we're styling up our spaces. We might be wondering, why does my space not look as great or as stunning as I envisioned it to look? Well, you might be making one of these mistakes and today we're gonna solve that, so let's get right into the video. Now the first mistake I'm going to be talking about is not figuring out your interior design style. Now when it comes to interior designs, we have several styles and all these styles have their different characteristics, different color choices, different material choices, and so on. So if you haven't figured out your style yet, the problem is you will go out there to pick out pieces and you're going to pick everything that stands out to you, not knowing that each piece represents a specific style. And once you put them all in one room, then maybe it's not going to look as cohesive as it should. It may just end up looking like a room clustered of different materials that do not exactly make a good composition together. So the first thing you want to do before you start styling out any space in your home is to figure out which style you're going to be working with in that particular space. Whether it's contemporary, modern, traditional, you're a fan of a lot of colors, you want to go for bohemian, you love a lot of luxury and making your space look expensive, you want to go for glam style, you're a minimal person, you don't like having too much going on, go for minimalist. Scandinavian is a gorgeous style, but you have to figure out which one works for you. The other thing is, I know sometimes you can fall in love with more than one style. At this point, what you can do is try to bring in pieces from the different styles so that you still have a space that you really love, but you make sure that every piece that you have in this space will actually make a cohesive interior. Now I have 2 videos out there which I have done on different interior design styles, so in total I have already talked about 15 interior design styles. I'm going to link them down below. I'm also going to link them up here. Make sure you check them out and figure out your style, know what works for you, know what materials you're going to be working with, what colors you're going to be working with, and you'll be good to go. Now the next thing you want to do after figuring out your style is to plan your space. Now this is something I'm also guilty of. I might walk into a space and in my head I'm already like, okay, I know exactly what I want here. I want 2 accent chairs here, I want a painting over there, I want a sofa over there. But what you want to do first is actually take measurements of the space, draw it down, and try to also sketch out the actual sizes of the furniture pieces that you want to bring in that particular room. This is the only way to plan your space properly. A lot of times when we go out there to get pieces for the space, you'll end up loving a lot of things. You end up bringing all of them in a space and then you end up having a space that is too cramped, or if the space is too big and you didn't buy enough, it's going to be too scarce and you want to avoid this. So definitely try to always, you can always just do this on your own. Check measurements of the room, check measurements of furniture pieces when you go out there. Try to sketch them out and make sure that once you have the furniture pieces in the space, you'll still have enough space for traffic and it won't be too cramped. Now, another thing when it comes to planning your space, when you're buying furniture pieces, try to have pieces with different heights. Another mistake a lot of people do is having everything at the same level. Maybe all your sofas, your table, everything is at the same height. What you want to do is mix this up by having floor lamps which are taller, or plants which are taller, and some other poofs which are shorter. The difference in heights in these pieces is actually going to create a more beautiful space. Now the last tip I'll be talking about when it comes to planning your space is to avoid pushing all your furniture pieces against the wall. Now this is a mistake that I think all of us have made, but you want to avoid this mostly when it comes to the living room. Pushing your sofas and chairs together actually helps to create conversation areas. Also, avoid picking pieces that are too matchy-matchy. This is something that older people are used to, but right now what you want to do is you can always have a sofa with a different fabric and have your accent chairs with a different fabric. Have wood pieces, have glass pieces, have metal fixtures to create a more aesthetic appeal. Now another mistake you want to avoid is painting your walls without doing small samples first. Now there could be a color that you love, or there could be a color that you saw in someone else's space that you loved, or there could be a color that you saw in the showroom that you thought was so beautiful, but how is it going to look in your space? Color is affected by how much light is falling on it, the size of the space, and so much more. The first thing you want to do is pick just a small sample of paint, or wait to see what it looks like under natural light, what it looks like under artificial light, and you will know if this is still the paint color that you want to have in your space. You also want to think about the size of your room, because dark colors might not look good in small spaces and might actually make the space look smaller and cramped. And to add on top of that, I would say you can always go for neutral colors, the whites, the grays, the blacks, and the beiges, as these ones you can hardly ever go wrong with. Another mistake you want to avoid is picking the wrong size rug. Now when it comes to picking a rug for a space, first of all, make sure you have a rug that either covers the entire floor so that all your furniture pieces are sitting on it, or at least the front leg of your furniture pieces are sitting on it. What you want to avoid is having a rug that just sits in the middle, maybe just for the table, because this does not make the space look as aesthetic. So rug size is very important when you're styling up your space. Now another common mistake that a lot of us make is hanging our art pieces or the TV at the wrong height. Now the best height you can hang either your art piece or your TV is at eye level, so that you don't have to strain your eye looking too high or too low just to watch the TV or just admire an art piece on the wall. Now there are a few times where you can break this rule, and for example when you have your TV above the fireplace, you always will definitely have to have it a little bit high. But in a regular space without a fireplace, try to keep your TV at an eye level. For your art pieces, hanging them too high or too low might not look good for the space at all. So you want to keep them at a space that's kind of in the middle of the wall. Also, try to avoid very tiny art pieces that sit on the wall alone. If you have tiny pieces of frames, try to have a cluster of them. This will look so much better. Personally, just advise you to go for a large piece of artwork. This does so much for any space, large or small. Another mistake you totally want to avoid is not creating a focal point in a space. Now, a focal point is that part of a room that your eyes get drawn to immediately you walk into the space. It could be an art piece, it could be a mirror, it could be an accent wall, and so on. You definitely want to make sure that any space you walk on, you have a focal point that creates a lot of interest in the room. This will ensure your space looks very aesthetic and looks stunning. A mistake that I've talked about so much in so many of my videos is going for the wrong height of curtains. Now when it comes to curtains, please make sure you are going for long curtains and avoid those short curtains, because they do not look good at all. Short curtains make the space look smaller, they make it look cramped, they don't make it look good in any way at all. So you want to completely avoid this, unless it's the kitchen area where you're afraid water will flow and so on. But in all the other spaces, just go for long curtains that reach the floor. And I have a whole video where I have talked so deeply about curtains, all the mistakes to avoid when it comes to curtains, all the things that you need so that you make sure when you're picking curtains for your space, you're doing a great job. So do watch that video. I'm going to link it up here and also down here in the description below. Watch it, learn, and guys, you will never make a mistake when it comes to curtains again. Longer curtains make a space look bigger and very appealing. Now this last mistake I've also talked about over and over again, and it is not layering your lights. Now a lot of us often just go for that one general light that we have in the middle of the room. It could just be one bulb, but what you want to do is actually layer different lightings in a space. It might be just one room, but go ahead and have a floor lamp, have some wall sconces, have some table lamps, fairy lights, and so on. This will make your space look so great. You'll be able to accentuate the space because you can also have accent lights that are hung above your art pieces or any piece that you actually want to stand out. You can also have your task lighting, which will be very functional when you're trying to read a book while sitting on an armchair. Your floor lamp or table lamp will help you to light up your reading material. So guys, other than the pendants and the chandeliers, make sure you're also having the other sources of lights so that the space can look a lot more aesthetic. Now I have a whole video on lighting, how to pick different lighting fixtures for different rooms in the home, and I give so much detail on how to go about lighting up your space. So make sure you check it out so that you can learn all the tips when picking out light fixtures. So those are just some of the mistakes that a lot of us make in our spaces. There are so many other mistakes and I will touch on them in other videos, so stay tuned for that. Anyway guys, I hope you got to learn something and will know what to avoid when you are styling up your interiors. I truly hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe and share. I'll be truly grateful. For all my Muslim brothers and sisters out there, Ramadan Mubarak. Anyway guys, see you next week inshallah with another video. Love you guys so much. Bye bye.